Okay, gonna check up on and make sure we should all be live. Alright folks, again, here we go. We are live. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. It has definitely been. Alright, here we go. Start right on in with this. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hurricane Watch Team is here with a live tropical update on Tropical Storm Barbara as it continues to strengthen. We also have Tropical Depression 13E, as well as another disturbance that has a 50% chance of development over the next 7 days. Here's Tropical Storm Barbara. As of the latest, 60 miles an hour, moving to the west-northwest there at 12 miles per hour. As of this is the second advisory. It is expected to become a hurricane. Once again, there it is at 60 miles an hour. Air pressure 996 millibars. Moving to the west-northwest at 12 miles per hour. Here's the latest forecast cone of the system. Is going to remain off the coast of Mexico. However, the biggest impacts are going to remain are going to be those rip currents as well as possibly some heavy rain. Do they have rip currents for international? They do not. Okay, that's fine. Well, yeah, rip currents all over the United States, it looks like. Wow. Just about. Again, here it is. Again, it is expected to continue its intensity there. Tropical storm, eventually possibly hurricane status. There's a pretty moderate 30 to 40% chance of it becoming a hurricane. 5 to 10% chance of that depression becoming a hurricane. So we're also going to have to monitor it as it is going to continue to intensify. Here is looks like we already have another tropical storm. Yep, there is Tropical Storm Cozumel at 49, air pressure 999 millibars. It has not been acknowledged that it is a tropical storm according to the National Hurricane Center, but here we do show it at tropical storm intensity there at 40 knots, 45 miles per hour. I want to get a better close-up of Tropical Storm Barbara. Here it is. They're off the coast of Mexico. You can see some of that rotation, maybe some dry air intruding there, but overall we do have a generally intensifying tropical storm. Very possible that it could also become a hurricane later on tonight. Again, if that were to happen, we will definitely try to give y'all an update, again, if that were to happen. Looking at the forecast models for these systems, here it is. Barbara there remains off the coast of Mexico. Again, does intensify quite a bit down there to about below 985, about 984 is what it's showing. Does struggle to pull in a deep, strong core around the entire storm, so that's why it's not going to be super duper strong. However, we do expect it to be a Category 1 hurricane. There it is, 74 knots at its strongest, and there you can see it does begin to weaken after that, as it does completely fall apart. No impacts to land are expected. Discussion again. There's our peak. There is expecting in about 24 hours to become a moderately strong Category 1 hurricane at 85 miles an hour. And as later tonight, this afternoon, closer to later tonight, is when we could see the storm reach Category 1 strength. Tropical Depression 3E, again, not super well developed. right now, but according to Tropical Tidbits, it is a named Tropical Storm Cozumel. Here it is, 35 knots, air pressure 1001 millibars. There are no watches and warnings. It continues to be relatively far enough off the coast where there isn't much of a impact to land. We take a better look at where it's at and do more of a zoomed out picture here. There it is way out here. Again, possibly some dry air. There could even be some wind shear from Tropical Storm Barbara there. That upper level wind creating and certainly causing some wind shear there for Tropical Depression 13, or Tropical Depression 3E, excuse me. And there is the latest forecast track. And then I did show these earlier on. I did post these, but I do want to show what we have here for, let's see, where would we at? Barbara, tropical storm, again, there it is. Maximum winds 50 knots, about 60 miles an hour. 95 kilometers an hour, about air pressure 996 millibars. 29.41 inches of mercury. There it is, looking at a peak of about 75 knots. About 12 hours, we do expect it to be a hurricane at 65 knots, about 75 miles per hour. So again, we do expect it to be reach Category 1 intensity, and then off to tropical, weaken to tropical storm, and then tropical depression become an extra tropical cyclone. If anyone has any comments or questions or concerns, feel free to ask any questions that you may have. We're going to continue to talk about this for a little bit longer, but then I unfortunately got to get ready to go to work. Sort of sucks. Curious what the GFS is showing for Barbara. Again, here it is. Does show that it does intensify into the 970s momentarily. It does look like 12 hours we could make this into a hurricane. We could see some more convection trying and thunderstorms possibly trying to wrap around the center of the storm. If we take a look at the winds, there it is, 68 knots, so that would be a hurricane. It does intensify a little bit more, but not a whole lot more, to about 70 knots roughly at its strongest point. As of right now, not a whole lot else is going on. Again, Cozumel right here, which will be officially named by the National Hurricane Center not too long from now, but it does appear that it does have some convection, there's some rotation, and it does have the support that it needs to be a tropical cyclone. Really, not a whole lot going on. These storms are not going to be very long lasting, several days, and that's going to be about it. We're not really going to be dealing with a whole lot of, super, it's really powerful. It's going to become a hurricane. Tropical storm Barbara is. And they're going to remain off the coast. Some heavy rain and possibly some mudslides are possible. But really, that is about it. I really wanted to keep this stream quick. I wanted to, as well, keep this stream short as well. And I keep clicking on the wrong one. There is the latest satellite imagery there of Tropical Storm Barbara. I don't want to keep this stream going on for too long, but I do have to get ready for work. So probably gonna keep this quick and sweet and short. That's gonna be it for today, guys. This has been the latest live tropical weather update of Tropical Storm Barbara, as well as Tropical Depression number 3E there in the East Pacific. We talk about the West Pacific later on, as we could see some storms developing out over there. That's what it for today, guys. Stay safe, take care, and as always, stay safe out there, and peace.